isn't on YouTube, right? Oh wait, I'm about to shit all over Google, so fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You want to drag that mic over?
Yeah. It's I just have to go underneath.
Keep pulling. It's in a bunch. Just pull the bunch. Yeah. Yeah. That should be enough. Yeah. Fuck it. Exposing you.
Why does that heater keep going up?
Fuck no. Guys, stop swearing. Oh no, this is after dark.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck you. I think that's enough. If you just put it between you guys. And then I'll juice the... No tapping. I'm juicing the gain right up.
Juice it all the way.
Okay. Say something.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Can you ask Aya how to spell her name?
How do you spell your name, Aya?
A-Y-A.
There.
You said A.
Alright, bro, what is going on?
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on, the kid.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on, kid.
Yeah.
Child.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Start at the beginning.
Well, the Silicon Valley is being pitched to.
Yeah, Silicon Valley's being pitched to you. It's never been what it's been marketed as being. Like, from the very beginning, like, what was it, in the 60s, Silicon Valley was pitched to you as absolutely nothing. There's farms out there, maybe, I don't know, maybe some people with cows. But no, people were building silicon chips, transistors, like, you're getting the start of the computer revolution coming through. Slowly builds, like, you keep getting the same thing. It's like, I don't know, do they do microwaves out there? Probably still got, like, cows. I don't know what's happening. And then you build, but then you get to internet and social media, and it's like a bit more apparent what's happening there. But what's coming out now is that when they're pitching you that they're making microwaves, it's actually been that they're making things for the military and making things for intelligence agencies, and they're being like, yeah, we sell microwaves as well. So the thing I just read at the moment is talking about how back in the 90s Google potentially got funded by CIA and NSA to help in citizen tracking. And like, this is repeated throughout history. You've got the same thing with Facebook. Like, apparently, I don't know which agency it was, but an agency tried to make Facebook before Facebook did. And they went for approval, and people went, "You're not making that. Like, we're not letting you have detailed information on every single living being on the planet that you can just search in seconds and find out everything about them." And they went, "Oh, fuck." And then look, here's fucking commercial enterprise. They're even saying that this might have been part of the intelligence agency's plan, is like, keep making commercial enterprises so that you can do it legally, and then give us all the back doors. So for as long as we've had tech there, they've been funding military shit. And it's coming out more and more too, like, pretty much monthly over the last year, there'd be a company walkout because it turned out one of their companies was making something that would help police or military in the wrong areas, and a bunch of people just were like, we fucking morally object to this, we're not going to work here anymore. And I don't know, it keeps happening though, so people aren't doing it right. Like, you're not firing the salespeople, you're just saying to the coders, like, yeah, come back, we're fine now, we won't sell it to them. Hey guys, don't tell them we're selling it to China as well. And it's like, nah, just don't make it, don't provide that service. With all the police brutality stuff in America, they actually started cutting off facial recognition technology to police services. So like Microsoft, Amazon, and I think, NEC probably too. Like, any company that provided facial recognition tech to police enforcement just went, you're not allowed that anymore. And I think that's a good move, but we should move beyond that to, like, why does anyone need that really?
Yeah.
Like like that technology does nothing at the moment. Like why do you want to put filters on your face for Instagram and Snapchat? Like I don't know how much money's spent doing that, but it's a waste of time. Like most of that's a waste of time. Like the tech underneath that is like it's so fucking intense. Like I started doing computer vision in 2006, 2007 as a kid, filters on your face, and then as an older kid, I got brought back into computer vision. In that time space with Snapchat, Instagram, all these people putting money into facial recognition technology, it went from something where you were relying on someone's really cooked idea of math. They were just like, yeah, if it bends in this way, then it's a human, or if the pixels rotate this way, then it's going to be like this thing, and it's like it never worked. Like you could do some shit with it, but it's like reading license plate numbers and stuff like that. And then all the money they funneled into it just meant that now in 30 minutes you can download all the things necessary to build something that can detect emotion. Like it can detect all your landmarks too. Like it can detect 32 points around the eye. It goes all your nose ridges, fucking everything. And they're starting to get into things with gait recognition, which is the way you walk, the way you innately walk will be able to track you. Yeah. And I don't think any tech company that gets that big should be able to be part of that anymore. Because they're taking that money. The industrial complex is bullshit, but they're taking that money. What do they say here? So yeah. 2 decades ago, the US intelligence community worked closely with Silicon Valley in an effort to track citizens in cyberspace, and Google is at the heart of that origin story. Some of the research that led to Google's ambitious creation was funded and coordinated by a research group established by the intelligence community to find ways to track individuals and groups online. The intelligence community hoped that the nation's leading computer scientists could take the non-classified information and user data, combine it with what would become known as the internet, and begin to create for-profit commercial enterprises to suit the needs of both the intelligence community and the public. They hope to direct the supercomputing revolution from the start in order to make sense of what millions of human beings did inside this digital information network. That collaboration has made a comprehensive public-private mass surveillance state possible today. But it wasn't always that way. Do you know about the cyberdelic movement?
No.
This is where I reckon most of it would actually kick up from. So cyberdelics computer subculture. So it's the mix of psychedelics and cyberspace essentially, and that's where most of the people back in the 80s and 90s were coming at it from. Steve Jobs isn't he's not an aberration from the norm. He's just one that got really successful. He's one of the sold out hippie generation. But there were so many people who were just taking mad amounts of drugs and then sitting at their computer for fucking ages, finding community, finding spaces. The whole dream for it initially was you can break free of the limitations of time and space through this. You can be safe, you can explore, you can create, you can get all of human knowledge at your fingertips and usable in seconds. But that fucked up. It fucked up real bad. This is the same as religion. Two things that came about through the age of Pisces that both fucked up real bad. It's just when people, I guess, I don't want to lend to the notion that secret forces are at play that try to undermine us. On some level I believe there's the right and wrong that are constantly at battle, but I think it's just humans being real bad at living with 7 billion or 7 trillion, however many fucking other humans there are on a planet. Because at the end of the day, it's someone worrying about not being able to pay their rent, and that manifesting in weird ways. If you're never around people telling you not to do something or changing your point of view, it's real easy to get sandboxed into some of those things and just view that as a mode of operation. But I don't know, we need to get those people out of power. Like that's it's the weird thing about both religion and technology. The two things that are based around like it working because of the network of people, and that being its core focus. But both of them have been distorted into the network of people working for the organization, right? Like religions, should be a lot more bottom up than top down, and same with technology. Like we shouldn't all be feeding our shit into the big corporation. It should just be coming back to us and supporting us in what we need to do.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting bit of graffiti on the Brooklyn bunkers. Don't know if it's still there, but it's like a hand holding a phone with a like triangle pyramid in the middle, and the phone's handcuffed to the hand, and there's also a key behind the phone, and there's like a doomsday sort of thing there too, which is like just that's what I see. It's like just moving through change, but I think that's a fucking apt metaphor, man. Like I think they're trying to pull up like the Illuminati's a play, or like whatever like organization you want to label the force against as, but like just the idea that like we've got all the power that restricts us, but we also have all of the power to stop it restricting us. But I think that it comes down to like, to be honest, like some people don't have free will, or like don't exercise free will, or even understand it. I think especially with technology, it's like your data isn't important, right? Like you can have an entirely normal life and still be like, oh yeah, like don't worry about them taking my data. It's what are they going to do with it? It's not you. It's like you and the 1,000 other, or the million other, or the like billion other people that they've got that data from. You can extrapolate a lot out of that. Like you can learn so much with the current technology, and people just go like, yeah, fucking have it. Like, what do you got? This new face thing that makes me look older? Like, yeah, I'll actively get older while I pretend to get older, and it just it doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't help anyone at the end of the day. But no one's willing to stand up to and just be like be conscious with it. It's like it's one of those intangibles. Like having money in the bank to me is actually like mildly terrifying. Because you lose context, like you lose, what is it? You just lose the ability to actually ration with it, like rationalize what's happening there. And same with a lot of stuff. It's like this is all imaginary. Same with the tech pollution, right? What is it like? 11,000 flights from New York to Paris every day, just from the photos sent through iMessage. But at the same time, like, I guarantee I picked up my phone and before that will take a photo of something and send it without thinking about the impact that it has, because it's fake, or like it's disconnected. It's like it's the prison, but at the same time you can stop using it as a prison. Like it can stop being a prison. It's a brilliant tool to help unlock humanity, but like, this is the other thing, like how do you get everyone to walk off Facebook? Like, you kind of can't. Like maybe, but the main thing is like, whenever one person says it, it's not enough. Like, whenever one person's like, yeah, I'm quitting Facebook, guys, catch me on text. It's like, they're just off from that. But like, that all continues there. Yeah. And most people don't leave it because they're like, oh, but all the things happened there. It's like, we gotta stop all the things happening in one place. Because, like, I don't know, if we burnt Facebook to the ground, essentially. I'm not saying we'll do that, like, yet, but if we just burned it all to the ground, people would realise real quickly that, like, oh, I can just catch up with people another way, or something else would come up and take its place, or they'd just have enough money to rebuild. But you kind of, like, what is that? It's that shop local thing again, eh? It's like, shop local, but also don't shop local. Like, go explore. How do you mix that concept? Maybe like a bunch of gears. Wait, I can show you something. What about this? H3. It's a way of splitting up the world into hexagons. But essentially, what if you even use that as a way to rotate people's bubbles? So like it's just like smaller and smaller subdivisions of hexagons, and then if you're saying shot local, so it's like shot Wellington, but then just every, I don't know, 3 months, like your inner hexagon rotates one, and then you have to explore that area, and then it just rotates again. Then maybe like every 9 months, your bigger hexagon rotates, and you go like up to New Plymouth or some shit. Like that's long term. That's like sharing economy style, I think, when it's like, yeah, you just move around and but still stay connected to what's near you. It'd be kind of cool if it automated, just like big Catan, but yeah, technology's fucked. Muckerberg's fucked. Google's fucked. Apple's fucked. I actually don't think I know of a big tech company that's not like entirely unethical or like a bit of a dick.
Right.
Like off the top of your head, like what companies out there do you think are like somewhat not shit? Not even one, eh? Oh.
Like a good ethical company.
Or like, let's maybe go for shock value. What's a company that you like think is somewhat above board, like you couldn't imagine doing unethical things?
UNICEF?
They said their motto was "Do no
UNICEF?
harm" for a long time.
No way.
UNICEF?
Well, I already like that's one where I'm sure I'll get shit straight off the top, right?
It's a literal charity, so it's like.
Oh yeah, that's not a tech company. We're talking tech companies.
Oh.
Yeah, like one of the big tech companies.
Big tech. Microsoft does bad things, right?
Yep.
Google does bad things, right?
Its operating motto actually changed recently. I think it used to be like, what was it? Google do no evil. That really sounds like the thing evildoers would say. Like if you have to put that up on the wall, do no evil or don't be evil. Man, they were so funded by the CIA. That's reverse propaganda in a fucking tech workspace. Don't be evil. And it removed it from its code of ethics as well recently because it was like doing evil, and you just can't have that there. Yeah, Google's evil, Microsoft's shitbag. Microsoft's like Bill Gates give away all your money, not just some of it. Like you're living too long, motherfucker. Like it's what 2020, we're still using Microsoft. This is the other thing. Like governments like pay Microsoft fucking so much money. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Microsoft government contract. New Zealand, maybe? Oh yeah, re-signed it again. But essentially we spend fuck tons, right? Like everything in government becomes Microsoft because it's been Microsoft for years. And the cost to migrate is so high, but we're talking what? Say you've got 1,000 people working in a parliament building, and 1,000 copies of Microsoft Windows. You're already talking about $100,000, and that's each time it comes out. And then licensing fees, but that's not how many people work in government. That's like I don't know, maybe like Beehive. But then you're talking like schools, education, fucking police, like fucking everywhere that they've got their fingers in the pies. It's Microsoft shit. It means they pay more to get things developed. It means we probably spend like, I don't know, we probably give them a couple $1 million a year, at least. Like, I like did some enterprise shit that had to use Microsoft, and it was like, I think it cost $25,000 for one copy of like Exchange, which is their email server. So like we were paying out the fucking nose for things that you can get for free, 100%. And which government open sourced its infrastructure? Open source government. I'm not gonna find it. I think it was like Brazil or maybe Argentina. Somewhere. They made a decision to open source everything that the government used, everything that was public service stuff, because as a member of the public, I'm not even allowed to like work on things for what the government's doing, but like they're all above board. It's like productivity things. It's like, how does Jacinda Ardern write a document? She probably opens Word, or maybe now they'll open Google Docs and no fucking better. Like, and she'll write something. You can do that for free. Like, this is Windows now, fuck you. But you can get Linux and LibreOffice straight away, cut everyone out of the picture. And yeah, when they open sourced everything, they found that, whoa, wow, we don't need to spend $10 million to do an app. Like, fucking, can I just rant about COVID real quick? Because, like, this one's still getting me. So the New Zealand government put out a request for quotes and a request for proposals around the contact tracing thing that was getting done. And the amount the fucking companies were quoting to do something that's literally like one of the most basic things you can do. Like, it was me in like a week or two of time could have done it. They were looking at charging like upwards of $10 million to multiple governments. They weren't just going to do it once to one government and give it away. They were like, yeah, you pay for it, you pay for it, you pay for it. No extra work's been done though, like at any given point in time, and they don't let us out. Like fuck, if the government will let me get on the dole, then I'll eat for that a couple more times, you got the whole thing sorted. Put that money to somewhere it needs to go. Weird. I think American Gods really captures the tech element of what's happened though. Yeah, the TV show. Yeah, it's very buzzy, but there's a character there's a character called Tech Boy or something in there, and it's based off the premise that as people worship something, there's a personification of it, or like a active being that encompasses that belief. And like when you brought it up in Age of Pisces stuff, I think having religion and tech birthed in the same great age are kind of parallels. I think it's like two attempts at the same thing. Like they're all trying to connect the world and bring that connection together, but they're both failing miserably at it. But yeah, you see the same thing. Like people worship their phones. Like part of their monolith is people like Kim Kardashian and stuff now too. You have like that as a representation of, I don't know, it's basically like, I don't know if this is blasphemous, but like Kim Kardashian is the Jesus of the internet in the terms of like she's nailed up on a cross and everyone's worshipping her. We have no idea why she's up there or why it's something you worship, but it happens. And I don't know, you get the same sort of shit, like people having wars over like variances and like internet subcultures. People were waging full on like faith disputes on bullshit. So like the same problems.
Yeah.
How do you make it better?
It's the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Just sharing knowledge. Like, I think Tina's sister touched on a good point of like communicating with people, because like the whole point of communicating with someone is like we can all stand in the room together, us three, but if we don't communicate, we will not connect. Even though like we like hug and shit, but something missing, you know.
Mm.
And like it's the secret potion, I reckon. Like to talk, because you can just create the fucking magic, which is like here.
We need to make a magic box thing for the black box thing. It's like, I don't know, basically like some form of electro zapper. So anytime you go on your phone to scroll Instagram but you're around people, it just goes like
True, that's a good idea.
and then we just reverse condition people.
Honestly, yeah, but that's still the whole like punishment thing, isn't it?
Yeah, fair. I don't know if it's punishment so much though as like it's conditioning.
Conditioning.
Like I don't know, you can be like, I guess the thing would be like, is there a positive antecedent that you can provide to stop that from happening? I guess conversation. That's the big one. It's like the best way to make people put down their phones is to make the thing off their phones way more enticing.
Yeah.
But then building it to be a habit too, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, the answer is just more connection. Like people doing what they're passionate about and connecting that up through that medium rather than anything else. Like, what do people want to do? Right, like any given day, what do you feel like doing that the current system doesn't really make it easier?
I feel like people don't know. So many people actually don't know. Like oblivious.
See, okay, is rephrased. What activities can you do with people? Oh, like most of them, eh?
Yeah. You can do anything along someone.
Yeah, I guess any activity you can do, you're a person doing it. Okay, I don't know how to phrase this question, but how would you encourage people to put down their phones and go and find a person and start having a conversation or start doing something? Because that's the main goal, right? Like, people are choosing to be on their phones watching other people do things rather than going through that step of like, okay, I found the thing to do next and then I can put this away for a while.
Honestly, I have no idea. I think it happens naturally. I think like there isn't a way that you try and do that, you know? I think like maybe the whole thing
I
is...
guess this is coming from my perspective as a technology person too though. It's like when we're talking about keys to the prison of technology, you just got to tell me like what shape the keys got to be in. Because yeah, I think the answer comes from within for that one. It's like, how do you get someone off technology? You show up on the technology and just be like, look behind you.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, I guess like one way I would see it is it wouldn't be like necessarily changing your habit, like trying to put your phone down and talk to the people around you. It would be like why are you not talking to the people around you in the first place, you know? Like there's something missing there.
Well, there's a stress level impulsive play. So like this is a mixture of biology and pseudoscience propaganda that's stuck to my brain. I don't know if it's actually pseudoscience, but it's propaganda and that I can't remember who told me. But yeah, so as people, every 15 minutes we want to be checking our surroundings. So like even now, it's like low-key just like check to make sure that we're still in a room, nothing's changed, there's no new predators around. That's continued since like apes, humans with technology, but this becomes an infinite landscape. So instead of just having to check the room, every 15 minutes now, that's spiking my cortisol levels saying, hey, you should be stressed out, you haven't checked what's happening in the ether at the moment. And so constantly our stress levels spike, we check it, it goes down. But part of the engineering that they've done, this is another part of why Silicon Valley sucks, because they employ people who study behavior to design systems that hijack our behavioral signals and make us do what they want. So like the sounds that the messaging things make, the da-ding, like that's been engineered for like thousands of hours.
Us.
Yeah, like the exact sound.
Of course.
And once they've got you in there, it's straight into instant gratification, but also not giving you too much. That's why we're unsatisfied, is because if we got enough out of it, we'd put it down and we'd stop scrolling. So they fill up the middle bit. It's like you get 100 posts, one of them gives you that little boost of dopamine that makes you addicted, and the other ones you just go, oh, fuck.
Nice.
What
Yeah.
is this? And then you get another one, you're like, oh, maybe there's another one like right next to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes randomness, you do get that. They engineer it fucking well. But yeah, they're hijacking that. There's another part, like notifications. I personally, working in tech, get stressed the fuck out. Like, Tino's phone will go off. Like, when he turns notifications on, it goes like, ding, 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 ding. And that low-key gives me like heart palpitations, because for me every fucking ding is like there's a new problem on your door, there's a new problem on your door. Like this is like you for the next 8 hours, and it just compounds and compounds. And I used to get really fucking stressed out, and like PTSD from some phone calls means that like the sound of Facebook Messenger going off, instant fucking dread. I'm just like something bad's gonna happen now. And I don't want to pick it up. I never want to pick it up. If I pick up a Facebook Messenger call, it's because like I fucking know that we need to talk, rather than like just idly being able to do it. And one of the weirdest things that I've just realized now is I put a notification blocker in, so instead of getting constant bullshit throughout the day, because like, it's not just one app that does this, it's like the whole phone now. Like your flashlight will message you and be like, hey, do you want to turn me on? Like, do you want to turn on the flashlight now? Yeah, like, I don't know, I haven't seen one myself, but I bet you I could go through the flashlight apps and find you one that sent you push notifications every day saying, hey, do this, do that, like, come into your flashlight, change some settings. And for me, that's bullshit. Like, I can show you the number of notifications that this has blocked.
Jay.
This is just every day that shit's just going to be going off, and it doesn't now, and it's low-key really peaceful.
Yeah, dude.
But
it would be.
every once in a while I like realize I haven't got the settings fine-tuned enough, and like bullshit comes through, like new email accounts and like spam emails, or just like regular stuff coming through. But slowly refining it, and like even this is all in a measure to stop overuse. So most phones at the moment, as soon as you're in another type of game.
Just so we know if the audio cuts out or not, because I'm listening to something different, or just like keep checking every like 5 or 10 minutes, just to make sure it's not doing the cooking thing. Is it on right now?
The cooking?
No, it like.
Oh yeah, I can hear it.
The cooking?
I don't know what the cooking is.
No, like you know how it starts to do the thing?
It's kind of fuzzy.
That's what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So can you keep the headphones on so that you can do to stop it? It's just in terms of like looking at it, taking like half an hour to stop and look at it.
We should do that at some point.
Are you back on?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the engineering of behavior is fucked. Like, I think one of the other things potentially might be like, you gotta get people to kind of like self-protect themselves, or like, you just gotta show a kind of wall to things. Like, a guy approached me maybe 2 years ago about building something to stop him from watching porn. Like, he struggled with it every day. He'd bought himself like locked, like time lock boxes that he'd put his phone and laptop in and just be like, nah, I can't use that for 4 hours. But he's like, that doesn't work. I have a job. Like, I'm a project manager at some company, and I have to do these things. But he can't help himself because the behavior is so engineered now. But the plan at the time was like, well, do what China does to its citizens, but do it to yourself and consent to it. So you're like, what do I not want to see? I don't want to see Facebook, I don't want to see these things, or don't want to see notifications for a while. Even changing the notification so it's like de-stresses you out. You hear the notification and it's like, hey, you have a message from blah blah blah. Like, you need to check it at whatever convenience is best for you.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Fucks with your brain. And it just puts that stress factor. Like, that's what it is, the anxiety. That's what feels bad.
Yep.
Like, if it was all nice and you were, like, connecting with your friends and it was nice, yeah, but nah, it's not that.
So many people have, like, low-level anxiety that gets turned into more extreme anxiety too by the current way of dealing with it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you get that constant little bit of anxiety that everyone has with technology around, but then you fall into the rabbit hole of it too, and you just keep doing it, and you keep getting more and more anxious around it. And then you start realizing that you don't like what you're doing, and you get anxious around that. And then you tell someone you're anxious, and they say, "Do you want some anxiety medication?" And you get anxious about that.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the day, like, it comes down to people wanting to make that change to stop. But, like, I don't know, it feels too harsh to say it. It's like,
No,
like, we've all been through times of mental unrest, and, like, from the outside it's easy to say just choose a day and stop feeling like that, or put things in place so that you get rid of those anxieties, but, like, no one's gonna, like, I don't know, I still don't know how people manage to show that without being forceful or just not doing it in the right way, I guess. So that's the main one. It's like revelations of faith. Like, whenever someone has a like understanding of something, it's something that they've come to themselves. But then you immediately go, "Hey, I got this. It gives me this amazing thing. Do you want it? Here's how it works. You just have this, this, and this, and this." And they go, "Oh, I do all those things. It doesn't seem to work." It's like, because it wasn't your revelation. But there's definitely ways to, like, spark that in people, I think. But learning that is a learning process.
You just can't give them that full solution. Like that. There is no full solution.
I think one thing I'm trying more is, like, I think people getting passionate about something, like, no matter what it is, or, like, in loose terms, like, don't get passionate about killing seals. It's not a good thing to get passionate about. Get passionate about the thing that's good for you, good for other people, and then just kind of, like, do that. It's like another one, like, right? It's hard to be on your phone when you're doing something that you're passionate about, whether that be people or anything. I feel like genres of things kind of help in the sense where it's like you can do literally anything. Like, you can build things, you can draw things, you can create things, but being able to follow that path for people, just like, what do you know possibilities of doing? Like, I don't know, some people might not even know that, like, I don't know, people are surfing on, like, kites, for instance.
Straight up, bro.
And, like, that's a thing you can do. You can just be absolutely interested in kite surfing and do that as a thing, bar some limitations of, like, entry to the sport, but, yeah, just kind of encouraging people to the sport, but, yeah, just kind of encouraging people to look a bit further afield too. It's like hard. Most of the activities we're given now are technological too. It's like, yeah, no one watches TV, but everyone watches way more things, like Netflix or YouTube videos.
True, yeah.
And it's all bad for the environment.
Yeah, it's not watching TV, but watching, like, programs?
Yeah.
Streaming.
Or just watching your phone.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know, another analogy is like, it's like Golden Bay over summer. You got a river full of hippies, all like, yeah, love nature, love connection, I'm so healthy, look at me. And then just, like, coughing up the cigarettes from the past day and, like, going down for the morning, like wake up hungover and fucked up. And yeah, it kind of clicks with you, like, oh yeah, like, sometimes the things we say aren't the things we're actually doing.
Yeah. Shit.
Can you stop the thing, Tina?
stop the.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Falling asleep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's what? Fucking 2 a.m.